Latinx Heritage Month. Recognized nationally from September 15 to October 15, LHM is a month-long celebration of Latinx history and culture. At Lakewood, this included an afternoon full of Latinx cuisine, regalia, and folclorico. As papel picado hung above their living room, it was filled with the families of Lakewood students, enjoying the many dishes and aromas surrounding them. Families piled onto couches and ate to their heart's content, filling their stomachs with spices and herbs. Tacos, tamales, birria, horchata, jamaica, salsa, handcrafted by the Durhamites of Lakewood, by the efforts of Latinx parents here and everywhere. This artistry transcends cooking and makes its way into clothing and regalia. Just look at this sombrero and these shoes, displaying the beautiful bright colors of Colombia. Speaking of, look at the talent of our Colombianos. The tunes from this mini accordion matched up perfectly with the look on this student's face, unapologetic and proud. Proud to share his culture and self with the adults and staff around him, any and all aspects of Colombia displayed before him. We now travel to Mexico, showcasing vases de barro and valeros de madera. Blossom is the word I would use to describe the flowers in the vase and what was happening to the culture surrounding me. A huge part of this culture being the regalia that comes with it. For example, huaraches, handcrafted sandals made from leather and cloth. Tons of people at the event wore them, and they would not have had the opportunity to do so if not for Norly Gudino, Lakewood's parent community liaison. While Señora Gudino was greeting parents and serving food, she was also maintaining meaningful conversations with the families in attendance. Soon after, everyone migrated to the gym, where they got to witness Taquiri Folklore Latino, a dance group that performs traditional folkloric dances from different countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. Their performance included a solo and group dance to popular tunes of Latin America. It was impossible to look away. Just look at these kids, the performers of tomorrow. Once the kids came out, there was no stopping the amount of clapping from the audience. They shouldn't have clapped that hard, though, because Taquiri quickly started pulling in members of the audience into their dance circle. Señora Gudino even got in on some of the fun. Soon after, the floor of the gym was filled with Lakewood Montessori students, families, and staff as everyone engaged with the folklore. It was a beautiful moment. And while none of this would have happened without Norly, there is another group of people that also deserves credit. This bunch of Latinx students, ones that set time aside a week before the event, deserve credit for bouncing off ideas with Norly, signing their parents up to bring food, and putting on a wonderful event. As they intensely listened to Señora Gudino's words, they made sure to ask questions and pose ideas for the cultural celebration. And while some voices dominated the conversation more than others, I was intrigued by one of the, say, quieter people in the room. Not the individual with the green jacket, but the one behind her. This is Kimberlyn Angeline Vargas Quiroa, or as many of you know her, Kim. After hearing her talk to Señora Gudino after the planning meeting, I knew this was someone I wanted to get to know. She was a little reluctant to wear a fiery red dress and huaraches to the celebration, coming to Norly with some fear of looking silly. Overhearing their conversation, I looked at her and said, "You don't need to wear it. You have to." Thus, I set it upon myself to talk to her further. My first day with Kim looked like this. She was having health week in gym, and I witnessed her interaction with the material, but also her friends. She is incredibly funny and has a smile that can't help but make you smile. Just look at how her friends are laughing as they leave the gym. Next up on her agenda was lunch, which meant that a huge chunk of time was dedicated to just laughing, eating, and enjoying the presence of her friends. And when I say laugh, I mean laugh. Can you blame her? This group of friends, her group of friends, were cracking jokes the entire lunch period. Unfortunately, all good times must come to an end, and Kim was on her way to art, one of her favorite classes. As she sits at table 6, Kim delicately takes a colored pencil out of the bin and uses it to add to the optical illusion all the students are making. It looked a little something like this at the time. She works alongside her friends as they emphasize shadows, outlines, and most importantly, the importance of talking with your friends while you're at it. With a person as expressive as Kim, you're bound to get some deep stares, some side eyes, or even some hands above her head, showing clear disbelief of the situation. Still, Kim continued drawing, allowing me to have a more in-depth chat with her about her Latinidad and her connectedness to Latinx culture. With roots in Guatemala and Mexico, Latinx culture runs through her veins. We go back to the conversation about the red dress, and she debates on how to tell me that sometimes it feels a little out of place to wear Latinx regalia publicly. Thus, allow me to reintroduce you to Kimberlin Angelin Vargas Quiroa, reclaiming what Latinidad looks like to her. She navigated the space before her with calm and ease, even though wearing the dress in front of her peers was a pretty big deal. Exploring Latinidad can be hard, but the smile on Kim's face alleviated any worry I had about the potential act of pushing too hard out of her comfort zone. One conversation during the shoot did get serious sometimes, unpacking the many ways our Latinidad can be pushed aside. But soon after, Kim reminded me how beautiful it is to embrace it. While the Guatemalan flag was unfortunately not in attendance, Kim's unapologetic stance with the Mexican flag is a sight to see. It is exciting to see the ways in which she will continue to explore her Latinidad. As she packs up to go to class, she holds out her necklace and earrings and is reminded that these symbols of Latinidad remain with her. Because sometimes, there are parts of yourself that you feel you need to put away and explore elsewhere. Like here, in Kim's home. Upon entering her home, I am hit with decorations that encompass Kim's life. From her footprints, to her initial, to pictures of Kim as a baby. I am immediately greeted by Kim's younger sister, Kayla, a true force to be reckoned with. As she flies into me, Kim and her other sister Zoe talk about Kim's homework assignment. Currently learning about how the rich get richer, Kim focuses intensely at the task at hand. Not without Kayla making a huge ruckus in the kitchen. This is where Kim spent the majority of her time, knocking out the majority of her homework. Surrounded by fruits and vegetables and a coffee and tea station. Although we can't forget the mole, a popular Mexican dish that consists of chicken in a chili and chocolate sauce. Kim made sure to sneak a piece in her mouth before heading upstairs to her room. Although Kim is not remotely close to her 5th grade years, this certificate pulls us back to school, and how at home she can explore her identity freely, through food, musics, and interactions with her family. All this thinking about Latinx identity is more extensive than we think. So for a moment, Kim just wants to sit on her bed and play Roblox. She tried explaining it to me, but I don't think I got it. After spending quite the afternoon with Kim, it was time for me to go. Exploring her Latinidad through photo shoots, conversations, and familial interactions has been enlightening. I hope she can continue this exploration and pass down her knowledge to her sisters in the future.